The story continues. A few days later, Blade returns to the nursery to be examined by the doctor. She tells him that he's slowly recovering about 30%. He's curious if he can use his hero powers again, but explains that he will die if he uses 30% of his full power. He leaves the office and walks around the school and hears Claire calling him. She wants to introduce him to her friend Maria, but Blade interrupts her because he remembers she was part of the magic unit when the students fought Ku. But as you guessed, Blade, a very considerate person, mentioning Maria tripped all the time during training and threw her magic spells in the wrong direction. Literally, this guy is becoming a pure bully. She accepts her fate, mentioning she's clumsy, but Claire mentions Marie has a favor to ask him. Turns out this girl wants Blade to kill her. Well, she explains that she's not human and she wants Blade to kill her if she somehow loses control. Everyone is surprised, yet Blade simply confirms that she's a night demon. Yes, Blade already knew about it. She reveals her pointy ears while saying there's something else inside her. No, it's not what you're thinking, it's just a magical beast. I think this doesn't make it better either. So yeah, that thing is powerful and her cup of British leaf water magically breaks. She worriedly apologizes, mentioning she cannot control her strength. Claire tries to calm her down, but she explains that she has been losing control of herself since she fought against Ku. The only problem is that she has nowhere to go if she gets kicked from the academy. Claire explains they came from the same school and that Marie's parents are gone. That's why Marie wants to deal with those powers, to find a place where she belongs. Blade accepts for one reason: he wants to deal with her inside thing. Okay, for real now, he doesn't have parents. Sophie and Ku join and they will probably create the orphan school club, but the rest also joins, including Ernest, who, as you might notice, she is now slim again. Now all those kids in Africa can eat again. Their plan is to go to the training ground, set up a barrier and stuff Blade wants Marie to release her power so she can learn how to control it. She refuses to, but he explains if Ernest could do it, then she can also do it. After some encouragement from Ernest, she ends up putting her faith on Blade. She first drops one bracelet, which ends up reducing her power by half. It really smashes the ground until they notice there are 3 more and a necklace that reduces her power by 10. This girl is literally the Demon Lord. Ernest realizes they're in deep stuff and tries to stop her. Too late, Marie's power is unleashed and she freaks out because someone is coming out. Blade tells her to believe them, and she smiles before transforming into what it seems a succubus, but turns out it's the real Demon Lord. The Demon Lord laughs, ordering them to kneel and all the stuff. Yes, mommy, I mean, she's celebrating her rebirth because she will control the world and stuff. Sophie asks if that's really the Demon Lord. Blade tells her it's not, but the crest on her head means otherwise. Ernest quickly pulls her demon sword and transforms into a demon to attack Marie, but the Demon Lord quickly deals with her. Leonard comes forward just to meet the same fate. Sophie decides to jump on her back and use ultimate gravity to pull her down, while Ku uses a fire spell in her dragon form. Sophie collapses after exhausting all her magic power to restrain her, and Ku launches her attack, but the Demon Lord stops it with her hand, turns into a crystal, and throws it back. After seeing all his comrades collapsed, Blade grabs his sword and rushes to hit her. The Demon Lord is confused because he never unsheathed his sword and asks if he's trying to take her out alive. She thinks he's a funny guy and tells him to fight her seriously, or she will kill him. She uses a wind spell to project him against the barrier and says that she will kill him if he doesn't take it seriously. Blade knows he's still recovering, but he cannot give up yet. He finally decides to take it seriously, but she manages to stop his attacks with her bare hands. He steps back and she uses a fire spell, asking him to not die right away. He uses his sword to block the attack, but his blade ends up destroyed. Ernest gets up, showing how hot she can be. I mean, she tells him to use her demonic sword to fight the Demon Lord. Asmodeus tells him that he doesn't want to do it, but since Ernest ordered him, he doesn't have many options. The Demon Lord thinks she will now have an amusing fight, but Blade couldn't care less. His goal is to finish it with his next blow. She mocks him for his words and tells him to show her what he can do. Blade channels his power, but Asmodeus tells him to stop because he cannot handle Blade's immense power, of course. Blade ignores it and uses his full power against the Demon Lord. She manages to block it with a barrier, thinking it was too simple until she notices her spell breaking apart. She cannot believe her eyes, and Blade manages to defeat her with his full power. He's happy that nobody ended up dying, but he soon collapses. He later wakes up in the nurse's office, where the doctor quickly hugs him while calling him an idiot. Despite being injured, he's enjoying life. She asks him why she's always making her worry about him and explains that he died for some seconds. If she didn't arrive in time, he would never wake up again. She calls him a liar because he promised that he would never make her cry again, but he failed. He apologizes and asks about the others. The doctor reveals they're all safe and Claire is treating them. He then asks about Marie, who is also alive. A day later, everything returns to normal. Well, not everything. Turns out Maria is still in her demon lord form. She greets Blade as the hero, but he tries to shut her up. She now has something to use against him in the future, and Blade tells Maria she should stop. She then explains that Maria is a different personality, and Blade asks the demon lord for her name, but she was never given one. Blade decides to check it with the king, who reveals that he was aware of Maria's identity. He explains Maria's mother was a human, and her father is the former demon lord, the one Blade has defeated. The demon lord's daughter quickly adapted to her new life, especially because she claims to be an ordinary young girl. Jessica complains, mentioning she just wants to wear cute clothes. Yet the demon lord's daughter simply flashes at the boys. The students began calling her Mouth, and she says that she one day wants a rematch against Blade. She heads to class and Claire gets worried that she will never see Maria again. At night, Ma knocks on Blade's window while Ku is sleeping. She wants to invite him on a date and grabs him to fly him up. She keeps calling him the great hero and mentions that Maria spent most of her time looking at the moon. Blade asks how old is she, and she mentions that she became self-aware 5 years ago. Blade is confused because she's 5, but she explains magical beasts don't care about age. She takes him to the roof, saying a lady doesn't want to be treated as a child. Blade is confused with the lady part, and she's like, can't you see? As you know, Blade is too dumb to understand. She feels bad because she feels attached to him, but he doesn't notice her. She then reveals that she only stayed in this school because of him. He thought she was enjoying her school life, which she also admits, but she mentions that a magical beast always looks for strength. She admits being attached to him, but she doesn't understand why, especially because she feels that he's weaker than he was in the last couple of days. Blade reveals that if he uses 15% of his power, he will die. She then says that he's not worthy of being killed by her right now, but she won't leave this school until she kills him. She holds his hand and reveals that she has been thinking of a theory that she perhaps loves him. Blade is confused, but she says it's only a possibility. She just wants to test it out. She blushes as she holds his hand and asks if he wants to be her partner. Yet Blade is too young, dumb, and innocent to understand what it means. Turns out she also doesn't because she's 5. Blade thinks it would be easier for them to go to the testing ground and fight each other until they're satisfied. She refuses because of his current condition. Plus, she cannot take out the necklace that restrains her power. She explains Maria's consciousness still inside her and stops her from taking it off. Blade asks about Maria, and Mal explains that she's hiding in the deepest parts of her mind. She mentions that Maria's heart is filled with dark shadows because of her past. She was feared and bullied by humans while she was still a child, and she was forced to hide away with her mother, who always believed her husband would come back. But Maria never believed her father would return. Eventually, her mother died and Maria's mind was filled with doubts. She thought that her father never loved her mother and abandoned them. She thought the demon lord was the reason of their suffering. That's when Mal was born, as a way to escape the pain Maria always felt. She says that Maria may never appear again, yet she explains that she only told him this because Blade is closer to a demon than to humanity, something she likes about him. Blade calls it something of the past, and they return to their rooms. A few days later, they studied Mal's necklace just to find out it's not a sealing item. Mal explains she's being restricted by the necklace, and Blade asks for more information about it. Eliza, the one performing the research, mentions that it seems some sort of recording device. Basically, that necklace has some sort of message for Maria. Now mentions that Maria received it from her mother, yet Eliza mentions that the recorded message could bring Maria back and destroy the demon lord. Despite the possibilities, Mal decides to accept to play the message because she cares about Maria. Eliza uses a spell to activate the recording, and Claire mentions they could have become friends if Maria and Mal stayed alive. Mal mentions that the ones who remain will be their friends. Eliza orders now to open up the necklace, and it projects an image of the previous demon lord. The Demon Lord initially tries to apologize for leaving Marie and her mother because he had to fight against the great hero. He didn't want them to follow him into a path filled with blood. He left Maria's mother when he noticed that she was pregnant. He had already decided the name for the child and ordered Marie's mother to tell the kid that he was dead. Mal finds Marie deep in her find and asks how long she will be hiding. Marie takes Mal's hand and they listen to their father's message, revealing that he will love both Marie and her mother forever. Mal starts to cry, revealing she cannot control her body because Marie is also crying in her mind. She mentions that she and Marie are fighting to see who gets to survive and that Marie is about to destroy her. Mal tells the group to call Marie's name and the group follows the instructions. Mal loses consciousness and gets on her knees and Marie regains control of the body. She ends up asking Blade to duel her and she turns into Mal. Turns out they managed to find a way to coexist because Marie wished to, but their fight turns out to be strange. Seems like Blade is more interested in flirting with Mal instead of fighting, despite her being 5. That brings the episode to an end.